Namaste all of you. So, why we are doing this session? I hope you are following with your contemplation after each session. Otherwise it becomes one more session, okay, we want to read or we want to study, but there is no follow-up. We have been listening, hearing this again and again and again. The whole idea of yoga practice will work out only when there is consistency. So whatever the gossips we are hearing now, it is not like a typical gossip. You move on to other gossip. But here, you have to think over again and again. One of the important thing is relating with your own experience. Whatever we are studying, whatever we are hearing, or whatever we are gossiping. So last few sessions we looked into these different states of mind. Chitta, Vikshipta, Muda, Ekakra, Nirodha. I hope you remember that forgetful mind, distracted mind, one-pointed, restraint. So, to understand the meaning, every day as we are involving in various activities, then if you are able to bring this word there, okay, here I am focusing, here I want to focus, sometime I am focusing, sometime I am not focusing. I like to do this asana, but my friend invited to this dinner program. Shall I do asana practice or shall I go to dinner program? So this oscillation, so that's where like we want to do something but the challenge comes. The whole Yoga Sutra, the whole yoga philosophy, analyzing this state of mind and giving solution. Later we are going to see what are the obstacles we are going to face. So we started with this sutra. Atha yoganusasanam. Atha. Now, let's begin the discipline of yoga. The teaching of yoga begins. Simply, we just understand that way. You don't need to worry about various interpretations of that Sanskrit words and also other commentaries. That's where we got to know about sage Vyasa's commentary, where he brought this point as different states of mind. We are aiming for this restrained mind, absorbed mind, Nirodha. And the next sutra continues with that. Yes, it says, okay, let's begin yoga. Immediately, Patanjali brings this definition. Okay, what is yoga? He says, Yogaha Chitta Vritti Nirodha. I'm sure you heard this sutra also quite often quoted, quite often mentioned, also read also. If we go word by word meaning, Yoga, you don't need separate translation for that. Yoga is Chitta, mind, mind field. Chitta Vritti. Vritti means fluctuations, modifications. What is happening, the activities, what is happening in this mind field. You might have read or heard as a thought also, okay? Which is also anyway happening there. Right? Nirodha, cessation, gaining control, or dissolving, dissolution. What is yoga? Yoga is cessation of the fluctuation at the mind field, on the mind field. If it is very challenging to understand in layman language, if you see that, to gain control whatever happening on the mind, we put it this way to start with, is not controlling the mind. Instead, it is gaining control of the mind field. That means the cessation, the dissolving all the activities, the fluctuations of the mind field. Now the question comes, what is this mind field? Which also we know, we hear mind, it's your mind, do you mind? It's my mind. In a normal interaction, we use this word. But how far we know about the nature of the mind? What is mind? Whatever I think, it's happening in the mind. Can we say that? Whatever I remember, it's happening in the mind. Which one we remember more? Whichever gets the attraction. Sometime pleasant memory, sometime painful memory. According to the time, according to the place, according to the person you interact will change. And I imagine something which is also happening in the mind field. What else happening? We are not able to recall, not remembering, which is also in the mind field. Remembering as well as not remembering. So, here, not only Patanjali as well as Vyasa and other commentators, they want us to understand the nature of mind. What is this mind field? Chitta. The whole yoga is for that. Not to get a beautiful shape of the body. Not for get rid of back pain, knee pain. Not for live longer. These are all happening anyway. But the main focus, the direction is this, to stop these fluctuations. That's what this whole yoga is all about. That's how we start the invocation, right? Yogena chittasya. For the chitta, by yoga. The invocation start with. For the mind field, for the mind, through yoga, by yoga. That is the meaning of it. So, how much we know about the nature of the mind is, if we look into that, is very, very, very less. How much time or effort we are giving to know this mind, that's also normally in the daily walk of life. Very less. We take it for granted in a way. So let us focus a little bit on that. What is this mind field? What is this chitta? The English word mind, M-I-N-D, is not an equivalent translation for this word chitta. Because the main concept, Ahamkara, ego, which is also happening within this mind field. So we try to understand through that English word, see how far we are able to relate through our experiences. So generally I look into this way. From the word mind, the M, letter M for memory, letter I for intelligence, M-I. N, name and form identification, which we can equate with Ahamkara, ego, I, me, myself. And the nature of the mind, or the platform of the mind, or the reality of the mind is dual nature, duality, D. What is duality? Everything, right? Right now, if you see that I am saying something, you are hearing something, dual nature. The whole universe functioning, not, in fact, like we are talking about many dimensions, right? It's not only like dual nature, it goes further into many dimensions. More than two. It's all put together, that's the mind field. What this sutra says, we have to stop everything. We need to dissolve all these fluctuations happening in this mind field. Memory, intelligence, identification, this dual nature, duality, everything need to be stopped. What to do without these things? Just imagine. We use the same mind to imagine. Just this one, within that word mind, one aspect is not there. M, memory. It says stop all the fluctuations, right? That means including the memory. Cessation of the memory. What happens? The very moment now I am saying something, you are hearing it, and you are able to partially or fully understand. It's because of memory. Memory of the words, memory of the meaning of it, memory of the connection between the whole language structure. Like this, if we look at our daily life, each and every moment of life, it is associated with memory. Not only human beings, every beings, right? The moment they come to the earth and they take birth, every beings, you can see that immediately they connect. They are recognizing the mother or recognizing the connection. It starts from there. So here Patanjali says cessation of these fluctuations. So why we are looking for? How we can really live in the life? When you hear, when you study, this is what supposed to be the question. A natural question. Then only we can understand or further we can inquire. Now, what happens with this memory? I hear the instruction in yoga class, right? Straighten the legs, keep the foot this way, lift the kneecap, move the thighs back, breathe, don't hold the breath. We hear, we recognize, it's going into our memory, but we don't remember all the time. Or we don't remember everything. That's why we keep looking for yoga teachers, right? To get the instruction. Then the same instruction we give by moving the words here and there, then we look into that, new technique. And also that memory brings certain experience. Even to go through any experience, you can see that without memory, impossible. Even the new experience, from one thing, it leads to other thing. To recognize a fruit as an apple, as you read or heard, then you recognize it. First you recognize the name of it, you recognize the form of it, then you recognize the quality of it. Everything, every experience, because of certain amount of memory. From there, even new experience that adds new memory. In our daily life, which moment we don't use the memory? When you are in a very embarrassing situation, this one, I don't remember. Still you may say that, but memory is happening, right? And somewhere you have to do something, then, but still, there is certain part, right? Memory happening somewhere or other. The whole day, waking state, it's constant action, right? Constantly happening. We use the memory. When you wake up, you see yourself in the mirror. To recognize you are the person, of course you have the consciousness, but the form, the structure, eyes like that, my nose like that, my height, shape, you have certain memory of that, right? That's why when you see that, something wrong, or this is not good, so I have to change. So we change, we add. Based on that, this should be this way. You can add this, then it will look beautiful everywhere. So we see that constantly the memory has been used from the morning until the night. Now what happens to this memory when we go to bed, when we go to sleep? Do we use the memory during dream state? Yes? No? Yes? No? Yes? No? Okay, then I ask this question. In your dream, have you ever seen, means dreamt, something which you have never seen before in your life? Where it comes from? Where that memory comes from? See, in your normal day-to-day life, if you look into that, we recognize. Even my name I recognize. The person I recognize. Things I can recognize. Objects, places, even new thing. Everything we recognize, right? We recognize that way. Now, when we go to dream, when we are dreaming, maybe you don't want to dream, but dream happens, right? When the time of dreaming, if we recall, if we remember back in the morning or once you wake up, certain time there are things which I have never seen before, there are things which I have never seen. Sometimes they come which never happens in the waking time. A person with two thorns, a person with wings, and your dog, cat may speak. Right? Various experience we go through. How that dream state, in that dream state, where is the root? What is this experience? Or how we are able to recognize that? Or where is the root of it? Who has the time to look into that? Already in the daytime I have to look after many things. If I get up in morning, I have seen this dream, I have seen this person, or I have seen this place. What happened? How it happens? It's a new experience. And normally we try to put into this category, sweet dream, nightmare. I had a bad dream today. We put into this way, then we move on. Same thing. That's what we are doing in our daily life also. We experience in many ways, but we don't give attention to that. We keep moving from one thing to other. That's how we keep ourselves busy. So we don't really look into the details of that. Our memory also one of that thing that we take it for granted. And we say that, I can remember well, or I have a bad memory. My memory is not good. Any person, if anybody says their memory is not good, you just scold the person. You just use any bad word, you just scold the person. Even if you go after a few years, that person will remember that, what you did the other day? You know what you said the other day? Even you don't need to directly tell to that person. Just tell to some friend, just about this person. Something bad, gossiping. You know what that person did? When the person here, when they say, okay, I'm not good in memory, but this kind of emotional thing, they don't forget. And that's what we are using. Lot of emotional, compared to the pleasant experience, the painful memories, whatever, according to you, something hurting, painful, you don't want to go through that experience. That we remember well. We keep on carrying that. At your family, your parents or siblings or partner said something many years back. But what the memory does, because you hurt, you were painful, keep carrying that. Because of that memory, right? Where it is happening? Same mind field. So good memory or bad memory, pleasant memory, painful memory, whatever you call it. This whole concept, the idea of memory, if we understand, we can see that we don't get into this conclusion that I have a good memory or bad memory. I got old, so I'm not able to remember. It happens. Definitely the change is happening. But that is not the reason, age or one's own condition. It is a faculty which is happening in the mind field. The next one, intelligence. See, if we understand the meaning of this chitta, the whole yoga practice ends. We are just started now, then every sutra after sutra, everything will connect to this. You will connect to this memory, it will connect to this intelligence. It will connect to this Ahamkara, ego. It will connect the platform, the nature where, in which reality we are living in. So, we may not able to understand everything just by exploring this is what is memory or intelligence. But that will help us to take each step further, continuously in the same path. Intelligence. I for intelligence. Mind. Like memory, memory is recognizing, right? But the faculty, intelligence, which brings this quality of discernment, to discriminate, to see the differences, to look into the nature of every single being and what is the quality of it, when I have to use, when I should not use. This is required for me or this is not required for me. Not necessarily intelligence means that it has to always produce good results. Intelligence, basically, it helps to discriminate, to discern. But based on the way they do, it can bring any kind of result. And this intelligence, not only for human being, for every being. How much capacity, it is different. But every being has certain kind or certain amount of intelligence. From an ordinary person, an ordinary soldier, became the great dictator, Adolf Hitler. He also used the same intelligence. If we see that in the history, from the famous people to the person next to you, everybody using it, but the result not necessarily bringing that good result. You can use it for any purpose. Even a person who want to rob a place, a bank, he needs to use the intelligence. Right? He needs to plan. He needs to know. He needs to foresee other people's other situation. Based on that, everything need to be done. So that faculty, like memory, it happens for every being. Using that, the moment the mind is there, definitely the intelligence is there. You may be thinking, okay, I'm not intelligent enough to understand what is Yoga Sutra, which is not true, right? You just need to give time, that's all. Normally they do this complaint between husband, wife or partners. Even though I am spending for lot of time with you, but I don't really understand. Or the other way, I know very well what you will do now. I understand you very well. But they will go for surprise sometime, right? That's where that they get the shock and everything. How it happens? I never expect this will happen this way. Intelligence. Now, how far we are using that or what for we are using that? If we Just look at our daily life. Like memory, whatever within that we are using, we are not really digging deeper. Here with the intelligence also, we just take it granted what we have, and based on that intelligence, we are using for various activities which limit us, that's where it is going into the next one, because there is a connection from there. It is not allowing to explore the full depth of it. It is not that about how much we know, how much new things we invent, whether we know these maths or physics, and from there we can come up with a new solution. It is not about that intelligence. Recognizing things as they are, or from there you are using that faculty to discern, to discriminate, not stuff halfway or not just at the beginning level. Anything we do, we go to the depth of it. If we use this faculty properly. Like memory, here also the emotions overpower. When the emotions overpower, intelligence will not help. It doesn't function. The moment we like, we dislike, emotions overpower, right? I know I should not eat this, intelligence says, but I love it. I like it. I'm enjoying it. So that's where we say, my mind said this, but still I do that. We give the name, my inner mind, right? My inner voice. And you can see that voice comes all the time. Suppose listening to this, it is not a happy experience, pleasant experience. You want to focus it, but you feel sleepy. The mind says, okay, let us play this game. The mind says, okay, let us go into this social media, or let us send a message. Again, it is the intelligence, but based on that, it is making us to think or to do, to get into activities. In fact, for survival, every being, they have to use this faculty again and again. And that's what we are doing, mainly. Then we see what is required, what is not required. Then based on that, we lead the life. So, the memory and intelligence, you can see the connection here. If we are able to remember or connect, and from there, it helps to use this faculty, the intelligence. Based on that, then you have more options, more choices. Right? That's why a lot of time we don't remember. When we don't remember things, you don't make the right choice. Right? If we look at like many things in our daily life, when we do something, we are getting some bad experience or painful experience, we don't recall it. Or the mind says, only that is like that, this is different experience. We will look into that more, we will explore that more. The next one, N. M for memory, I for intelligence. N. Name and form identity, identification. We identify ourselves. It first starts, this is my body, this is my name, this is me. It starts from there, then it goes further. then you are keep on adding, I am like this, I have this character, I like this, I don't like this. It's all added there. But for every of that experience, what is there at the beginning? This identification. It's happening to me. I am doing things. I am experiencing. I don't experience. I want to do. I don't want to do. I should have get this. I deserve this. I don't deserve this. I am the best. I am not the best. Not only that, I belong to this religion. I belong to this country. I am a male, I am a female. Every of that thought process, you see that without this I, all other things become meaningless. This identification, this Ahamkara, in Sanskrit the word is given as Ahamkara. A loose translation, generally it is written as ego, but we may misunderstand. It's quite common, we say that person has a lot of ego. He or she thinks like so high about himself, herself. So we use that meaning also. That person is so egoistic. It is not, it's more comes that ego as a pride. It is not about that here when we say this I ego, Ahamkara. Aham means that I-ness. So this identification, any idea of when it starts? Science says that recognition comes even when the moment you are able to activate the faculty inside mother's womb. It starts from there, it says. If you say that Patanjali or this philosophically, if you see that, it says it is there all the time. That's how this cycle comes. So that is continuing all the time. It is continuing. Ahamkara. In fact, this Ahamkara is the reason to get into this birth and death cycle. If you look into that, if you believe that. Anyway, which is not our experience, so we don't need to look into that now. But we can recognize this when we look around, not just us. Every being, they, some way or other, they get this identification, so they want to survive. They want to live. They don't want to die, including human beings. It starts immediately from the time the birth takes place. If you look at like many animal stories, they want to survive. It goes into even plants, trees, that kind of species also. Every being. The reason is this Ahamkara, this I-ness, this identification. I am so and so person. Then only actually we can interact, right? Even when I am saying something, if I don't have that ego, if I don't have that identification, I may not able to say anything. To whom I will say? Because I see here, I am so and so person. I am saying this. I am doing this. And you can see the connection to the memory and the intelligence. If there is no identification, the name and form identification, there is no difference. Then you don't really care about memory or intelligence. Furthermore, if you see, for this faculty, all these faculties, mind, memory, intelligence, this identification, this I-ness, Ahamkara, it can function only in this dualistic nature. Two persons need to be there. Put it this way. Two things need to be there. That's why they give this example, right? During deep sleep, where there is no memory, there is no dream, right? Because there is no dream, you are in deep sleep. In that dream sleep state, we don't know what happens with memory. We don't know what happens to this intelligence. We don't get any identification. Do we experience, okay, I am sleeping now. I am sleeping very well. It is so nice. I'm into deep sleep. We don't get that experience while we are sleeping, right? We are getting that, or we are recognizing that only after we wake up. Then we are saying, okay, I had a good sleep. That's why this concept of time and place, everything disappears. So it is not only that time and place disappears, it is the identification also disappears. I don't recognize that I am sleeping now. And my sleep is so deep. And I don't have any dream now. We are not recognizing that, right? Once you get up, then the mind recalls, then it sees the hour, oh, I slept for 5 hours. I didn't get any dream. Or I got this dream. I feel so energized, refreshed, so I had a good sleep. We recall after we get into this waking state. So what happens to this mind, to this memory, to this intelligence, to this name and form identification, to this dualistic nature? What happens during the deep sleep? What happens? We are all sleeping every day, right? What happens? What happens? For now, we have only one answer. We don't know. Science may say many things. A lot of masters, they may say many things. They may even say that your consciousness only there, rest of the things disappears, are going into a stagnant state, dormant state. But we don't know. What we know? I need to sleep every day. That we know. If I don't sleep, I don't feel good. That we know. But what happens to this memory? Why the time disappears? Why this identification disappears? And what is the mechanism? Even though the body survives, right? Still functions, breathing happens, all the organs functioning. But what happens? This so-called mind, why it is going into that inactive state? And what is the result? Energized, refreshed. So what is the connection of the mind which disappears, but this whole entity refreshed because of its disappearance? What is the mechanism? What is the technology behind this? How it really works? We don't know that yet. The whole yoga practice is to find the answer for this question. And that is what this sutra says. What it says, yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What is yoga? This cessation of these fluctuations in your mind field. That means what? What is yoga? Go to deep sleep. Yoga means going to deep sleep. Isn't it? It's the same meaning, right? What is mind? Memory, intelligence, identification, this dualistic nature. Here the definition, yoga means that mind need to disappear. Cessation of these fluctuations in the mind field. That is what exactly we are experiencing in deep sleep. So we can give the definition other way. What is yoga? Yoga means experiencing deep sleep. So from now onwards, you don't need to say in the morning time, I am going for yoga. When you are going to bed, you can say, I am going to do yoga. Patanjali says, yoga means Chitta Vritti Nirodha, cessation of these fluctuations. So, as far as our experience, this cessation happens only during deep sleep. That means what? Every night we are doing yoga for 4, 5 or 6, 7 hours. So when we are saying that, how many hours you are doing yoga every day, you can proudly say I'm doing 8 hours of yoga. No, I'm not joking. We are studying this whole Sanskrit words, this commentary of Vyasa, commentary of Vijnana Bhikkhu, various commentators, trying to get into this explanation, stories after stories, explanation after explanations, to find out what is happening in this deep sleep state. That's where the answer is there for life. That's why yoga is very simple. That's why he straight away gives this statement. Let's start yoga. Okay, what is yoga? Cessation of all the fluctuations. You have to stop all the fluctuations in this week. Gain the control all the fluctuations in the mind. It is not for samadhi, the way we are thinking it. It is not to really gain some special powers that I can recall, I can go to my past life. I can say about future. I can walk on the water. It is not for that special powers. Instead, to know what is this deep sleep? What is really happening there? To explore that, to really go into that experience, then whatever the definition given, right? Memory, intelligence, this identification, we have to see the full definition or full explanation of that. Right now, how much we know about our mind? We just take it granted and we say, my mind is like that. I am like that. I am not like that. He is like that. He is not like that. We straight away get into certain category. We don't really examining what is the nature of this memory. That's why I asked this question. We are getting into some experience which we never experienced in the waking state. During the dream, we do things, we see things, we experience things which we never had during the waking state. So where is the source for this dream? Where is that memory come from? We don't look into that. We don't ask. Same way about everything. How come I get that identification immediately? why I have that identification. Without that, what happens? We don't ask that question. For everything, the main answer is, of course, the emotion overpowers. But the emotion comes from where? The identification. That name and form identification. We give a lot of importance to that. Especially to the form, right? I should be a tall person. Whatever the age, I should not get old. I have to be young all the time. The hair should not fall. My weight should not increase. And not only that identification, for our own identification, we get this. I should get a handsome person as my partner. Right? Not only that, all my children should be beautiful. It only comes from your own gene, right? Either you have to be beautiful, or your parents, or like great parents, whatever comes in the DNA. A lot of people are spending a lot of energy on this. You know which industry is the number one industry? It's been there quite some time. Where there are a lot of business happening. Cosmetics. Form identification. That form should be the way I like. And if we look at our daily life experience, it revolves around that in many ways. Many things we do. So what is this really? Okay, this is happening. In this mind field is fluctuations. So what is this fluctuation? What is this cessation? That's what the explanation goes further. That's where we are going to look into further. So what is the dream exactly anyway? Right now you are hearing this is a dream. Can you accept that? What is your way of seeing right now? This is present experience, right? Suppose I'm saying, no, you are in dream now. Actually, you are sleeping in the dream I am speaking. There is many theories, many explanations when it comes to the state of dream. They even use that as a therapy, dream therapy for many things. Some study says the connection is about what we are thinking now. The same thing continues while we are sleeping. It's a continuation of the expression of the mind field. The same memory, intelligence and identification. You open your eyes, it's the waking state. You close your eyes, it's the dreaming state. Just look into that for now, in that way. You can to some extent you can identify. Sometime in the daytime, for it may be even not even a minute or very short moment, you are closing your eyes, immediately there is a kind of dream. I'm not talking about the daydream. Daydream is with open eyes. I will be like this, I do like this, I become like this. No. That is daydream. I'm not talking about it. It's, you are drifting into sleep. It may be for a moment. Within that you may experience dream. I don't know how many of you experience that. Probably few of you experiencing now. You may be listening, but you are already into maybe half dream state. That's we can give some definition. Okay, this is what happening during the sleep state. It's in between waking state and deep sleep state. In many ways we can give the definition, but it's a big question or thing to explore. What is the difference between the waking state and the dreaming state? This practice is also part of that, because without understanding, to some extent, we don't understand the deep sleep state, but still we may not understand completely. What we can look into that now, we have to look into our thought process, which is happening in the waking state. How far I have the control of my own thoughts. I'm thinking something. For the thought to happen, how far I am directing, I am having the control of it. Even if you have one-pointedness, you have full focus on something, there are certain thoughts coming which you have no idea how it happens. You have to look into your thought process first. That means in the waking state, whatever happening, when I'm saying thought, it comes with the images also, along with that, whatever associated with that. And that will give some idea, the pattern of the way the mind functions. So we will share individuals' experience in that way. Does knowledge create sharper intelligence to discriminate? Knowledge itself can be right or wrong or followed blindly, blind faith. Can you rely on intelligence alone? The way we live the life, you have the answer already, right? We are saying we are the most intelligent being, creature in this planet. But now says, in few decades, this planet is really getting into this condition that is going to be a disaster, right? Climate-wise. So the global warming is rapidly increasing. Who is the main reason? Human beings. It says it's man-made. So that itself very clearly says, right? We can't rely on our intelligence. In fact, the nature of intelligence is like that. We know something, based on that we get into the activities. From that activities, we come to know more. We get to know more options. So, because the intelligence itself evolving, like everything, constantly evolving. We will come up with few examples maybe next session. Oh, it's a very long statement or question. A person wins something, let's say gold medal in Olympics. So let's say this creates the ego in this person, creates great pleasant memory, and due to that intelligence tells him he is the best in the world, which pumps his ego more. In the world of duality, he can lose the next time or keep winning. Will this create more disturbance in the mind? Will this person suffer or keep driving herself further for more success? Maybe I keep this question for tomorrow. Please save it. First, let me put it this way. A person definitely need strong identification to do anything. That means what? Ego is there all the time. I need to have that ego, means that identification, then only I can get into activity or the mind start to function. Deep sleep state, egoless state. The person wakes up because of ego. If there is no ego, the person will not get up at all. The mind doesn't wake up. When the mind doesn't wake up, you don't even open your eyes. The misunderstanding. Buddha doesn't have any ego. Jesus Christ doesn't have any ego. All the great masters doesn't have any ego. No. Without the ego, the mind doesn't function. Only the difference is there. That ego has certain wisdom, enlightened ego. Still it has its own mind. Then only it has the identification. When Buddha came out and telling something, he has that ego to identify that he knows something which others don't know. He has certain method which will help to others. It comes from that egoistic expression. Otherwise we don't do anything. Mind will not wake up at all. That individually they need to have that ego to perform anything. So a person winning a gold medal means he has to strongly believe that he can do it. So when you are doing an asana, I can't say, okay, go become, egoless. You should not have any ego. No, I have to say, you can do it. You are so good in that. You are strong. You have the determination. That actually what I'm doing, I'm increasing your ego, right? I'm telling you are good, you are not bad. That means what? I'm bringing all the positive mindset to get the result of that particular action. That's where we lie also, right? We don't tell the truth. A person, sometimes they wear something like very awkward way or funny way. Still we have to say, you are looking good, you are nice, you are beautiful. Part of ego. Right? Without that, we don't do anything. We can't live in this world. We can't even recognize ourselves. We need that. It is there. It is not we need. It is there. We will explore that. Thank you. Namaste.